And good evening, one and all, and welcome back to Gen X Cinema and episode 4 of the Mel Brooks podcast. Yeah, we're up to episode 4. We've already tied, and we will soon surpass the Tarantino podcast. And tonight, yes, we are going a little bit out of order in terms of release of film, but streaming sucks because you can't get the movie that you want to rent to watch so that you can review the damn movie. So tonight we're doing High Anxiety instead of Silent Movie. But I'm here, you're here, these two fine fellas are here. Well, this one fine fellow, this one deranged lunatic beneath me and Mr. Knight is here. Of course, we all know him. We love him, Mr. Chris Knight and Mr. Ace Mulwick, fellas. Welcome back. Good to have you both here. It's been roughly a month. I've missed you both. To everybody out there in internet land, I have missed you all a great deal. I'm sorry I haven't been streaming or doing videos more, but my back hates me. It hates me as much as Victor von. Well, no, let's move on. It hates me as much as Mr. Thorndike hates his fear of heights or hates his parents, as we will get into through the course of this review. Spoiler. We are, of course, reviewing High Anxiety, which is, of course, Mr. Mel Brooks' parody and his spoof of the films of the late, the great, the somewhat asshole-ish Mr. Alfred Hitchcock. And, well, he was kind of a cock. But we'll leave that for another discussion at another time. Gentlemen, High Anxiety, as I said, a parody of the films of Alfred Hitchcock. This is kind of one of Brooks's lesser known films. It's not as well known or as frequently quoted as, say, Blazing Saddles or Robin Hood Men in Tights or Spaceballs, but I have to admit, for my first time watching it, it was very entertaining. And of course, we have a wonderful cast in this film. Of course, we have Mr. Mel Brooks in the lead role as Dr. Thorndike, Miss Dr. Harpo Thorndike, and of course, we've got Cloris Leachman as Nurse Diesel. We've got Harvey Korman. We've got a cameo by Mr. Dick Van Patten, who we will see again in a couple of movies. One very well-known one as Spaceballs. And, of course, the beautiful, the talented, the ever so lovely, late, great Madeline Kahn. Indeed. So, fellas, let's get into High Anxiety. I open the floor to you, fine gentlemen. Well, you one fine gentleman, and well, you Ace.
Hey, I resemble that.
We know that's why I said it.
Let's just go with this. I mean, I think, as you said, it's not as well known and stuff. I think this is definitely geared towards a certain generation, people who had grown up or were watching Hitchcock movies. Of course, this is a play off of Vertigo, Psycho, North by Northwest, The Birds, a bunch of different stuff. And of course, you see these things. Again, I think you could really say Mel Brooks was the first person to make a roadmap for parodies. He understood the material he was parodying, and he didn't do it just necessarily a slapstick way. He played it kind of close to the vest with certain things, right? Just deadpanning it. Like sometimes it's so obvious, but he would point out the obvious stupidity of what we watched. And yes, these movies that he was parodying in this were great movies in their own right.
Yes.
But he does bring up in this parody, in this spoof of those movies, he brings up exactly why they're ridiculous movies, in the tropes that are ridiculous about them. It's kind of like, like let's just go with a regular horror movie. The best place I've ever found to watch a horror movie is where there's a higher concentration of African Americans, because I go to those theaters and they laugh, they talk back to the screen, and they're like, "Don't go in there, man! You're gonna get killed." I told him, "See, he got killed." It's those things that make it fun to watch this movie, because it's like very blatantly done. So I think this movie is just great. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. At Mel Brooks fashion, I mean, because he did it with Spaceballs. He asked permission with George Lucas for Spaceballs, and he was like, "Oh yeah, go right ahead." Because if anybody knows this, George Lucas loves parodies of Star Wars, but he did send the script to High Anxiety directly to Alfred Hitchcock, and he liked it so much that he even helped Brooks with a few plot points, and later sent him a case of expensive wine and a congratulatory gift after seeing the finished product. So,
well, that was nice of him. Okay, I somewhat retract my comment.
Don't retract it, because he was a major dick.
Yeah,
not like a detective. He was the other kind.
Mostly, yeah, he was stars.
He was kind of an ass. Yeah. Ace, any thoughts on your end?
The opening scene just, for me, like sets the tone for the movie. Well, as any good opening scene should, obviously enough. And the cop, well, the cop bit, like, wait, are we doing spoilers or no?
Yes.
Okay.
If you've not seen this movie, then you need to go see this movie. Yes.
There's the would-be cop just luring him in the toilet, as Mel Brooks said, and just, "I demand explanation. How about this? Strips off. You either find me attractive? You're not a cop. They would have dead me." Just the perfect way of setting the tone of the pure absurdity. I mean, granted, it's probably like the third gag immediately after the nearly stabbed by a woman with an umbrella.
Well, not to mention that the stripper just has a passing resemblance to a family member that might be related to you.
There's that as well, although that was not. Well, I was gonna say that he didn't look like a stripper, or at least not a top dollar stripper from his physique. And
anybody
takes their clothes off is a stripper.
But again, I say
he's more of a flasher. He's got the trench coat for it.
Well, he was called the flasher in the credits, not the stripper.
Yep, well put.
Not to mention he was wearing a dickie.
That was a nice little throw.
Not again, and not that kind.
Again, things that Mr. Ace would probably wear in private, and thank God we never see it.
Wear in private, not on. Not on.
Anyway, growing up, I of course was even before I knew about all the shenanigans of Mr. Hitchcock, I have been a longtime fan of his movies. I've seen them. I've seen just about all of them. Psycho, The Birds, North by Northwest, The Lady Vanishes. I've not seen Vertigo though. I need to.
You haven't?
It's great.
I've heard it's good. It's not that I don't want to. I just haven't gone around to it. Like so many other movies.
In other words, you don't want to.
No, I want to. I just I haven't gotten around to it. But I have to admit the gag of the camera passing by the plane, everybody looking out the window, and then Mr. Thorndike is like, because he has a massive, massive, massive fear of heights. But then we find out later he doesn't hate heights, he hates his parents. And
like so
one character that we meet later on, that we meet at the neurotic institute for very, very nervous people, Dr. Little Oldman. I love Dr. Little Oldman. And I'm probably the only one who, neither one of you know who I'm talking about with Dr. Little Oldman.
Richard, my boy, Richard, that guy.
That's right.
His mentor.
Yeah, his mentor. Who I think if it's the same actor that I think it is, I think he plays the father of the woman from History of the World Part 1 that's trying to get her father released, and he's the Birdman of the Bastille.
Yeah.
I think it's the same actor. It looks like the same actor, except they put more bearding and so on him. But I love Dr. Little Oldman. But Cloris Leachman as not Nurse Ratchet, Nurse Diesel, and Harvey Korman. The chemistry, the dynamic between Harvey Korman and Cloris Leachman. Of course, Harvey Korman is well known for his work with Tim Conway and Carol Burnett and Vicki Lawrence on the Carol Burnett Show. But the two of them in this movie, they are so disturbed, but they are so hilariously disturbing that I don't know what to say. I found them hysterically funny, and I'm sure I'll have more to say later. But anyway, go on, guys.
Just the way she's always talking like she has her teeth gritted, and you can clearly see lipstick smeared on her teeth. To me, it's just a simple but well enough done gag.
Well, I think she's obviously supposed to be. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, no, finish.
Well, she's obviously supposed to be a parody of Nurse Ratchet, played by Louise Fletcher from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Obviously,
how nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nurse Ratchet wasn't a dominatrix. At least I don't think she was. We never saw her doing anything dominatrixing or Well, she was domineering.
That. Again, it's the thing of basically saying that's what she was, even though you don't see it. That's what she was. Any nurse that acts like that is like that. I think it's just the intention of that part of it.
Jack Nicholson's character in that movie best described her when. Well, I'm not going to repeat what he said verbatim, but he said to the staff that she was, well, a four-letter word that rhymes with bunt.
I believe it.
Going back to Hitchcock in this, like I said, I guess looking at another thing about it is that Mel Brooks actually was there for watching him watch the rough cut, thought he hated it, and that's when the next day he received a package of the wine, and in it Hitchcock had wrote the note, "Have no anxiety about this." So basically, I think he liked it. Now, one of the things, because I said earlier that Alfred Hitchcock helped formulate some of the stuff, and he wasn't. I don't think he was ever credited as a co-writer or anything. But the tower climax at the end was a direct suggestion of Hitchcock's, because he's like, it mirrors Vertigo, and he's like, you would do this is perfect, and they, again, I think that's. I mean, again, if anything, Hitchcock was a brilliant person with the ideas that he had. Just he wasn't a people person, basically. I think one of my favorite scenes in this is the fourth wall break, literally. With the camera,
two of them.
Trying to listen to the conversation. You're coming in on camera next to you.
And they actually look at the camera like, what the hell? And then, of course, at the end, when they're pulling back from Victoria and Richard on their honeymoon, and we'll get to Victoria here in a few minutes, but yeah, the
Oh.
fourth, the literal breaking of the fourth walls. Yes, those were great sight gags.
Yeah,
Just
especially
absolutely.
I like when
No.
they, stare up at the ceiling in that one scene where they're rescuing the sidekick and they're reacting to music because that little
Brophy.
shot where they're Brophy when they're entering the room he's in, that's actually a little homage to I wouldn't say one of his lesser known movies, but one of his later movies, Frenzy from Hitchcock.
You might be right. I've never.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of Frenzy, but that doesn't mean anything.
My Aunt Rachel turned me onto it. My personal favorite Hitchcock movie is Rear Window. I was a little. It's a little disappointing that he didn't try to homage that, but maybe they were just kind of going for the more well known at the time, which is fair.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Now the bellboy in this was a future Oscar winner, right?
What?
The one that attacks him in the shower with the paper.
Honestly, no, I didn't.
He says something like, "What is it? Here's your paper." Like something like,
Here's
what
your
is it
paper.
that he
Here's your
says?
paper. Here's your paper. Here's your paper. No, I
Oh
didn't.
no! Here's your paper. Happy now? Here's your paper. Happy now? Yeah, it's Barry Levinson.
Who?
Barry Levinson, who won it for oh shoot. I'm
I know the name.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. What was he? Oh God, what was it? What did win an Oscar for? I want to say it was probably directing, but I can't remember. Let's see here. Best director in '89, was it Rain Man?
Might have been. I don't know.
Was it? Hold on, I'm looking here. Yeah, Barry Levinson won Best Director for Rain Man. So,
Really?
Yeah. Just so the bellboy that beats Mel Brooks with the paper is a future Oscar winner. Yet again, showing that if anybody deserves an Oscar, it's Mel Brooks.
Barry Livingston.
Well, he didn't get an Oscar, but
Livingston.
he did get it. He did get an Oscar, but he did get a lot of Tonys, and I think those are actually better than an Oscar. I think they're a little more. It's a lot harder to do it live than it is to do it on film. Although there are,
Livingston.
Levinson, Levinson.
Okay, I was misspelling it.
Of course you were. Listen, get past that third grade, and it's easier from then.
They held me back 7 years.
They told you it was only 7 years. What you don't know is it's been a lot longer.
Obviously,
I know it.
Again, I think that I brought this up in the beginning, is that this is more, it's a spoof, but the thing about Mel Brooks when he spoofs things is it isn't so much a spoof as it's a love letter. It's his, I love these movies so much, or I love this genre so much that I want to do it. And
but I want to kind of make fun of it.
Yeah, I liken this to Steven Spielberg in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom at the beginning. He had always wanted to do two things, and that was direct a musical and direct a James Bond movie. So he puts Indiana Jones in a very James Bond-esque thing, and he did a musical. And so, again, some of the best work you'll see, or some of the coolest things you'll see out there, is when directors are like, I want to do this, or I love this so much, I wish I could do this. So Mel Brooks knew I'm funny, and I can make this funny. And so he deadpans this whole movie. This whole movie is so, like, the bird scene where he just gets pelted over and over and over and over again. It's like,
and then he goes into things. Then he goes into the dry cleaners. Everybody that's coming out is going, whew, whew. Which is stinkier, the fart scene in Blazing Saddles, or Richard Thorndike walking into the dry cleaners covered in pitch and shit?
Now, you brought it up. I don't know if you brought it up. I think it was before we went live, about Madeline Kahn and how they made her a blonde in this movie. that's a direct reference
To
to
Tippi Hedren.
Hitchcock movies, because one thing is, a lot of Hitchcock movies, because they were in black and white, he chose blondes to be leading ladies in his movies because the blonde hair stood
Showed up.
out
Mhm.
on black and white. So
Because let's see.
this is again a thing of it. Well, Madeline Kahn does a perfect job of catching the icy yet fragile energy of those characters that were played in Hitchcock movies, like Kim Novak or Tippi Hedren, and that's
Mhm.
that's kind of why they
Or
did it.
Janet
Never
Leigh.
in the end. Yeah, I mean, exactly. So when you watch this movie, if you've ever seen a Hitchcock movie, you do see these similarities and why they did the things. But you brought it up about how she's blonde in this movie for a very good reason, because Hitchcock liked blondes, at least using them in his movies. I don't know if he had a preference, but yeah, I mean,
Well, and the it's such a shame that she's no longer with us. I don't know what her last movie was or anything, but saw her in Clue, loved her to death in it. And every movie that I've seen her in, and every other movie that I've seen her in, which was mostly stuff that she did with Mel Brooks. But she was Victoria Brisbane. If that isn't a Hitchcockian leading lady name, I don't know what is.
Again, that's the thing. Anybody will tell you, like, again, with like Red Eye Yankovic, it's hard to write the songs he's writing, because one, he has to come up with the premise of what am I writing about. Okay, now if you think about it, Smells Like Teen Spirit, he makes it Smells Like Nirvana, but he found the ways to do things like the marbles in my mouth and all that, all those funny things about it. But that's not easy. Sit down sometime, listen to a song, and try to parody it. It's harder to do because you can't blatantly do the same thing the group's doing, and you have to stay on task or on point with your topic at hand. So you have to be different, at the same time be the same, but never tread into the same lane that the thing you're parodying is. So it's either stay far away from it, in the vein of, like, in songwriting, stay far away from the topic the song is about, but sound like the song. But in movies, it's stay on topic, but if you're doing it just like the movie you're parodying, you have to be so absurdly the same but different. Once again, Birds. Would that not be the case if Birds were a real movie? Would they not just be crapping all over you? They would be.
Depending on the species, yes.
Well, that's true. Yes, and he uses pigeons, not so
not blackbirds or seagulls or whatever. Now, there is one thing I want to backtrack just a smidgen.
Yeah.
The opening scene that takes place in an airport. In terms of release date, 3 years from this movie being released, we would get another famous spoof or parody of another genre of film that's popular in the 70s, i.e., the airplane disaster. And of course, if you know movies, you know what movie I'm talking about. That, of course, being Airplane. And the question I have to ask, who did it better? Brooks or the guys that did Airplane? Because the airport scene, the opening airport scene in those two movies, in this movie and Airplane, dang if they don't echo each other.
Well, they do. And that was probably intentional. Again, showing how one parody can give another parody something. Again, the best part about these movies, typically, I mean, you think about it, Blazing Saddles, even the producers, to a point, even though if you think about it, it is similar to Star Wars Spaceballs, but all these movies if you didn't know what you were walking into, like if you blindfolded somebody and they had never seen a Mel Brooks movie, never heard of Mel Brooks, if you sat them down at the beginning of this, it feels like the movies that it's parodying. It has that suspense at the beginning.
Mhm.
Again, and even Airplane was like that. But you think about it, Blazing Saddles, they went and they found a guy who had sang themes for some of the biggest westerns of all time and had him singing. And again, I brought that up during that, is that he didn't even know it was for a parody, so he put his heart into it, thinking it was another major western. And and so it gave it that feel. Mel Brooks is absolutely known for doing that.
Mhm.
That is one of his big things, is I'm not going to just be parody right from the get-go. I want you to feel like you're in the movies that I'm parodying. I want you to feel like you're watching that from the beginning. And as it goes on, it gets sillier and stupider at times, but it's all done very well. So like I said, you guys know that Mel Brooks wrote the song High Anxiety, but the guy
Yes.
who did the score for this, of course, was John Morris, who had done other Brooks movies, and he'd also worked a lot with Gene Wilder. But he'd done the Elephant Man. Of course, he did Blazing Saddles, the soundtrack,
The score.
Score for that. Yeah, but
Great score.
I'm trying to think. I know there's a bunch of stuff he did, but he helped with. I think he did the original arrangement for Springtime for Hitler, and I think he did. I think he scored the Transylvanian Lullaby for Young Frankenstein. He did some Sherlock Holmes stuff, The Woman in Red. Trying to think what else. I don't know. He did a whole bunch of stuff, and I think that was one of the good things with Mel Brooks, is that he knew where to go to get the feel, and lots of times he went to people that knew him. It'd be like likening him to Spielberg basically being told by George Lucas when they did Indiana Jones. He's like, I don't know who are we going to get to do the theme song or the score for this, and he's like, you got to work with John Williams, because like that's the guy that works really well with George Lucas and knows what he wants. So once you get that type of guy, it again helps your movie. And Mel Brooks knew that. Mel Brooks was very good about finding the right talent at the right time. So,
and I have to say, I have, up until this movie, I have never heard Mel Brooks sing. And man, what a wonderful voice. I mean, we've heard Madeline Kahn sing in other movies. I mean, we heard her sing in Blazing Saddles, obviously. Granted, it was a bit overplayed, but man, she has a beautiful voice.
Yeah,
Absolutely stellar.
a couple parts in
And-
Young Frankenstein as well, like short parts, but
Mhm.
pipes on her.
Well, also, I have to admit, the pantsuit that she wears when she goes to meet Richard in the park or whatever, and the car that matches the damn pantsuit. I can't remember the name of the fabric that it's, or the pattern. I think it's paisley or something. I might be wrong there, but a paisley car, and she's wearing a paisley pantsuit. Can you get any more 70s?
And funny you mentioned the
you
pit.
probably could.
The later scene where her and Richard are on the phone, and
Mhm.
if you look carefully, the
Mhm.
little teddy bear that she's holding is actually wearing the same paisley pantsuit. Like, if you pay close attention, it's the same pattern. When I saw that, I thought, oh man, I didn't see that the first time.
Well,
Keep the gag going.
Well, sometimes that's
I'll
the
have to
key.
go
Is
back and rewatch.
I liken it,
Go ahead.
when you talk about keep the guy going. The key here is, and I think the way I normally try to say this is the Fat Thor thing. So if you ever watched
Mm-hmm.
the Avengers with Fat Thor,
Mm-hmm.
it was okay for a second or two. Know when to play it, know when to drop it. And he is very good at one, not just knowing when to play it, but when to replay it and when not to replay it. So in that Avengers movie, Fat Thor is the joke every 5 seconds, and it gets tiring very quickly. And that's a problem with a comedic gag that keeps coming back. It's not just knowing when to play it, it's knowing when not to play it. And Mel Brooks, again, is very good about holding it out when in today's parodies, in today's movies that are comedies, and think of Scary Movie, think of Not Another Teen Movie, you could almost guess when they're going to do something, because it's so much of a dead play on exactly what what it's a parody of. So much that literally they're just shooting different words in the space of the movie that they're parodying. It's not a bunch of different things. So again, Mel Brooks was really good about not just parodying one movie. This is a parody of how many movies did we mention? And yes, other movies,
These 4 or 5 or 6.
other movies
Mhm.
that are parodies, like Not Another Teen Movie, play off of a lot of different ones. But it's always feel like it's one movie that introduces parts of the other movies. So like I think Not Another Teen Movie is more heavily based off of like American Pie in a lot of places than it is anything else. But it incorporates other stuff. This feels like you move from each of those movies he's parodying, but it is a part of its own movie. It just has parts of other movies, so it's a little different.
Well, and here's the other thing too, because like any good director or actor, Brooks knows who to bring in for his movies and how much to use them for said movies. Because obviously he had already worked with Harvey Korman, he had worked with Cloris Leachman previously. So he knew what they would be best for in this movie. And well, obviously Korman has played a humorously villainous character before, with Blazing Saddles, like Hedy Lamar, or excuse me, Headley Lamar. And I can't remember the name of his character in this movie. I just know it's Harvey Korman, but I know that he enjoys being mistreated by Nurse Diesel, and heaven only knows who else. And Cloris Leachman, of course, as Nurse Ratchet, and she's of course a parody of Nurse Diesel, who's a parody of Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But the premise of this movie is very simple. You have got a psychological institute that's being used as a front to simply make money off of its more wealthy patients. Now, for a Hitchcock movie, that could be suspenseful and be very threatening, and it works and everything. But what Brooks does is he takes it, as we've mentioned, and he makes it ridiculous, because it's all about just making money off of people who have various forms of psychological imbalances. Not to mention when they go to the psychologist conference in Los Angeles, and then the one psychologist comes in with his two young daughters, and all of a sudden they're having to alter their language because they don't want to possibly offend the two young girls or their father. And I can sit here. Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead.
Well, and I can just imagine. I can imagine that our friend here, Mr. Molick, if he was the psychologist and it was his kids, he'd be like, "Oh, they hear it all the time. Go ahead."
Pretty much.
So, one thing, and granted, we'll see this actor again. If I remember the actor's name correctly, if I get it wrong, please forgive me. But We lost Ace. Or we lost Chris. Damn it.
It's not 10:30. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. And how
Anyway.
dare you call me that word? Ugh.
I didn't call you anything.
You called me that word, that one word, 3 letters, starts with an A, ends with an E, has a C in the middle.
I didn't call you Ace. I called you Chris.
You said we lost Ace.
I'm pretty
You'll
sure you
live.
said Chris. Maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe
Yes,
I'm
I said-
hearing things again. Maybe I'm crazy.
Probably.
No,
Maybe it
no.
was this
I'm
movie that made me
Hey,
crazy.
look at my thing. Look at my subtitle. I am Abby Normal.
I know.
I'm the Abby Normal one.
So can we
Anyway.
go down that road really quick? Really quick. I just want to say, is it just me, or does the Psychoneurotic Institute for the Very, Very Nervous seem more apt and more believable today than even then? It's like, it's kind of crazy in 2026 that you look at this movie now and you're like, oh,
Especially for my generation.
Well, not to mention you actually have a real life furry as a patient. He thinks he's a Cocker Spaniel.
yes, 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 yes. Mm-hmm. God, yes.
That was where furries would go before furries became accepted. Furries must be destroyed. They've had it too
Now.
good for too long.
Ace, quit it. I'll remove
Sorry,
you.
I'm out of
I'll mute-
alcohol. I can't.
Well,
I
that-
can't
well, that-
dilute my senses.
Well, that's your problem, not ours.
I'll make
Yeah.
it your problem.
Good luck. I can remove you from the stream, and then it's nobody's problem but your own. Okay.
We'll just sit backstage and talk for the next 30 minutes thinking we can hear him.
Probably. Now, as I was starting to say, the actor who plays Brophy, unless I'm mistaken, that is the same actor who played Comicus's agent in History of the World Part 1.
Yep.
And if I remember correctly, the actor's name is Sid Green or Sid
It's
Caesar. No.
Ron Carey plays Brophy.
Ron Carey. Brophy. Okay. I knew I wasn't too far off, but I love Brophy in this movie. Blowing up the negative, I'm like, okay, he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to literally blow up the negative and destroy it to where it can't be used, or what they did. He made the picture bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Great sight gag. Absolutely great sight gag. Go ahead,
I
Chris.
think that was designed to mimic the filming style of what they were doing in the, I'm trying to remember which movie it was, but anyway, some of that stuff, again, it's not something that most people would go to. So again, Brooks does a great job of subverting expectation, but at the same time surpassing expectation. He subverts what you think he's going to do,
But
and then he exceeds that subversion to go even further with it. And again, like,
well,
I mean,
and go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. What I was going to mention is the fast track of the love story between Richard and Victoria, because it almost feels like the romantic thread between Tippi Hedren's character and oh, for heaven's sakes, I can't remember the damn actor's name. The guy who played the male lead in The Birds. The Birds. But very quickly do the two of them become enamored and fall in love and obviously eventually get married. Now, granted, in The Birds, that never happens. But we could assume if there wasn't a bird apocalypse, then maybe Tippi Hedren's character and the guy in The Birds, the same thing would have happened.
Rod Taylor.
Rod Taylor. I knew it was Rod something. I just can't remember what.
Speaking of the like you briefly mentioning the ending where they get married in this movie, it kind of actually like almost mirrors the ending of Robin Hood Men in Tights, just without the fourth wall break. If you think about it,
He likes happy endings.
I like a happy ending. I mean, Return of the Jedi is my favorite of all 6 Star Wars movies, but I'll stop myself there.
Fair enough. Well, it does have a happy ending, but it also has a bittersweet ending because, well, Anakin dies. But
True.
I get it.
Well, I don't.
Although you have to remember what the Waco kid or Jim said at the end of Blazing Saddles. I love a happy ending. I hope this movie has a happy ending. So, in a manner of speaking, yes, Mel Brooks does like a happy ending because, well, who wants a downer ending for a comedy? And even in a manner of speaking, at least a few of Hitchcock's own movies do have a semi-happy ending. I mean, except for Psycho and for the birds. So,
well, the birds
you
do
Chris?
eventually get their way. I was just saying the birds do eventually get their way.
Yeah, but we're not rooting for the birds. We're rooting for the people.
Oh, we were? Damn, I gotta go back and watch that movie. I watched it wrong all the way. Damn.
Yeah.
Glad to know I'm
we're
not
rooting
alone.
for the people. We're rooting for the people, not for the birds. We want to remain at the top of the food chain. I don't know about you, but I don't want my eyes plucked out and my tongue removed by a stinking pelican.
What about by a toucan?
Sam?
No birds. Period. If I'm in the birds, that movie ends. If I'm in the birds, that movie ends real differently. It ends with me with a flamethrower and a Gatling gun or a minigun, and I'm going on a rampage, wiping out every single stinking bird I can find.
And you'd have roasted poultry for a while.
Not with a flamethrower. They're pretty much toast. They get disintegrated.
Points for you for the flamethrower instead of saying shotgun because, hey, buckshot ain't that accurate.
Well, I'm talking about like an armored vehicle that's got an automated flamethrower and a couple of miniguns mounted on it, and then maybe a window-mounted M16 with a grenade launcher, or just a grenade launcher. Period.
Points.
I'm rolling through Bodega Bay, and that sucker, and I'm like, get your butts in here. We're getting out of this. You want to save your butt, save your kids, get in the back, and be quiet while I take out these feathered freaks.
Have you guys ever seen One Crazy Summer?
Can't say that I have. No.
Okay, it's a John Cusack movie. It's really funny, and go back and watch it, and this will make sense because I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it's true. So another thing that Alfred Hitchcock suggested doing in this movie, and it didn't make it because I think Mel Brooks had said at one point that it was too expensive. But Thorndike was supposed to be running. I'm trying to think. He's running from a killer, and he's supposed to jump on like 8 foot onto a ferry. Okay, like
a little Jewish man running onto a ferry. We all have seen Mel Brooks. We know he is no action star. There is no way in hell Mel Brooks is running and jumping onto a ferry.
No.
Because
you know the stereotype.
No, but he jumps onto it just to realize that it's coming back. That it's actually docking, not leaving. So it goes through all the trouble to jump onto it. But the reason why I say this is there's a rumor that I'm trying to can't remember his name, but anyways, there's 3 movies were done by this one director that they were all supposed to have John Cusack. 2 of them did, but it was One Crazy Summer, then Better Off Dead, or actually, it was Better Off Dead was the first one. Then One Crazy Summer was like the sequel kind of to that, even though it's different characters. It basically feels like that. And then the third one was How I Got Into College. And I love those movies, but whatever. But in One Crazy Summer, they're actually doing that. They're running to get onto, where is it? Yeah. Oh no, wait, hold on. Was that movie? I thought it was that movie. Yeah, I think it is that movie. Anyways, they pull that gag off, and the rumor is that Mel Brooks just so happened to be somewhere backstage doing something else, and he saw this one part going on or heard about it, and he's like, yeah, "This is what you should do." And that was even Hitchcock influencing something that he had no intention of influencing because he was dead by that time. I don't know. I mentioned Barry Levinson being the bellboy. How about the Louis Vuitton gag?
Louis Vuitton. The trunk? Are you talking about the trunk?
Well, no, the fact that her dress to her car's interior of Victoria Brisbane is it's all matching, like the interior of the car. But that's what Louis Vuitton does. Everything matches.
I think you mean the exterior.
Well, exterior does, but I thought the interior also.
We don't see the interior.
Interior.
You don't see the interior.
Sure, you don't see it at one point.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Yeah, but that's a Louis Vuitton gag because Louis Vuitton everything matches. So that is.
Well, considering her father is very, very wealthy and so on, obviously she would have everything matching. So, but I have to admit,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, instead of using chocolate syrup like they did in the original, the original Psycho, they couldn't do that, and the scene was in color. So,
so instead they used paper. They used newspaper ink instead. I think was what Chris was trying to say because unfortunately he's gone frozen again.
He's not even Walt Disney.
What? No. So did you hear what I said though? It was
no, because unfortunately you keep dropping out. Ace, be nice.
I don't know why it's doing this tonight. He came
because we love you, and you love us. But not so like but not in a weird way.
It was black ink,
maybe you
instead of the chocolate syrup. So they used black ink on that.
That's what I had said when you were froze.
The little things.
Well, and here's something I found, and I think this is maybe just a little bit of a parody of a James Bond movie because the killer in this movie, one, he's a master of disguise, but also he has very ghastly braces because if you're a fan of James Bond movies, like I am a fan of James Bond movies, you know that this is a callback or a call forward or whatever it is to one of James Bond's most well-known villains, of course, being Jaws.
This movie came out the same year, I think?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know.
3 or 4.
Yeah. The last one he was in was Moonraker because he actually had a bit of a redemption arc because he and I actually kind of liked that. He met a woman and everything on the space station that the villain had built, and he decides he's like, you know what? I like this woman. I want to turn over a new leaf and be a decent guy. And Jaws gets reformed. And I like that.
He met her on the
So-
planet, back on Earth, after the
Yes,
gondola
but
thing.
She ends
Yeah.
up going. Yeah, but ends up going into space with them.
But we first meet him in
Yeah.
The Spy Who Loved Me. But that's
think you're
as far
right.
as I'll go. And in the original book, actually, that
Yes,
the
it was
movie was
too.
based on, he was actually called Horror, and he had braces instead of the whole
Yeah.
clamps.
I think it was supposed to be in a third one. I don't know. They changed a lot of stuff.
He was in a
Around.
video game, Everything or Nothing.
Well, and also the actor made a cameo in, of course, Happy Gilmore, because he played Mr. Larson, one of Happy's bosses. And then eventually, when Happy got successful as a golfer, Mr. Larson became a big fan of his. And I was like, wait a minute, because the first time I saw Happy Gilmore, I think I went and saw it in theaters when it came out. I was like, wait a minute, I know you. You were a villain in the James Bond movies. And yeah, sure enough, it's the same actor. I can't remember his name and everything, but
Richard
he did a lot.
Keel.
Richard Keel, I think, is
K-I-E-L.
yeah.
And he died like 3 days before his 75th birthday.
I think he had a similar issue like Peter Mayhew and the original guy who played Lurch from the original Addams Family. He was extremely tall and everything, and he had a lot of issues with arthritis and so on. And he didn't move around a lot. And if you notice in Happy Gilmore, you do see him leaning on things, or there are people nearby that he can lean on and so on. There's only one scene where he starts to run and everything, and it's at the end, and he's chasing down Shooter. And you don't see him catch him, but you hear him starting to attack Shooter. But I know that was a little bit of a rabbit trail, but I love that character in the James Bond movies and everything. Most villains don't get a recurring part in James Bond movies, especially henchmen. But this is the one time that you did have that with the Roger Moore run. So, but
also a lot of things.
Oh, is it in Cannonball Run? Oh,
Well, Cannonball 2.
Oh, Cannonball Run.
He's
too.
He's the guy that works with the Asian guy in the Suzuki.
I haven't seen those movies in so long. I think I've only seen the first one.
Oh, can you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. I think that was one. I think that's Jackie Chan that's in it too.
Yeah,
Yes,
with Chris
Jackie
Tucker
Chan.
in Rush Hour.
Yeah, but it was
what I'm
Jackie
talking
Chan.
about.
Oh,
Jackie
the
Chan in
actor.
the black like Suzuki or whatever it was that would go
Yeah,
into
because
water.
Jackie Chan was, I think, in the
Which
second
one's
one at
first
least. He wasn't in the first one though.
No.
So.
The first one's completely different from anything that.
Mhm.
If you've seen the
Definitely.
first one, it's totally different than the second one.
So,
But anyways, getting back in the line of this.
yes.
well, getting into the finale, the third act. You mentioned the tower scene that Hitchcock suggested. Of course, Mel Brooks went through with, and I think honestly was a great idea. And I think because it did call back to Vertigo, which this movie obviously is a parody of primarily. When Dr. Little Ullman, I love that name, Little Ullman, and they call him Little Old Man. And he's like, no, it's Little Ullman, not Little Old Man. And he's like, I did some research into your condition. He's like, I want you to think back to your parents. Think back to when you were a baby. He's like, and he has that flashback, and it's Mel Brooks obviously dressed up as a baby in a mock high chair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't hate heights. I hate my parents. Which is one of the really great psychological jokes, because everything goes back to, you hate your parents.
The working title for this was originally acrophobia, which is an actual medical term, and he didn't like it. He said that's just too boring. So he actually coined the term high anxiety to try to get people to use it instead of that word. Favorite line, one of my favorite lines I have from here, Victoria Brisbane with Madeline Kahn saying, "I'm not going to go to bed with a man who has his own hair dryer."
Was that this movie? I don't remember that either.
It was. I believe it is.
I don't remember that
line. I'll go back and see if I can pull it. And let me see.
Okay.
Movies.
There's one scene we've got to discuss, and that's when Victoria and Richard are in disguise and going through the airport.
That's my favorite scene.
What a great scene, because obviously he can do it, and obviously she got permission, or I think Madeline Kahn was Jewish, one or the other. They play up the stereotypical older married Jewish couple so well in that scene. And they're in disheveled, beaten up clothes that she got from the Salvation Army. You want me to go to the Salvation Army? Do they really handle stuff like this?
I think she was Jewish.
She might have been. I am not sure. But regardless of her, if she was Jewish or not, they played that scene so well. Because obviously we all know very, very, very well that Mel Brooks has made very well known, I'm Jewish. And that's okay.
Well, again, I think that, again, that's something that he puts in every movie he does.
Yes.
He does. He always wants it to be in there.
Without subtlety.
It's very much so, yes.
Well, let's be honest here. He's got the card. He's allowed to. He's a lifelong card-carrying Jew, and I do not say that in any derogatory manner whatsoever, obviously. And he does it well. He's the only one that I've known that does it well, and people find it hilarious. At least the three of us do. And I imagine anybody who watches this on the replay, I hope they will feel the same. But that scene, the timing, the physical humor, the accent, the arguing, the bickering back and forth, it just all hits so perfectly.
And when you say that, like the timing, it not necessarily related to the movie entirely, but I find it funny, like that part where she's like, Morris Titletown is not dead, he's alive. He just goes, no. One day after watching that clip on YouTube, or a couple days after, I was talking to my mom about something, and I can't remember what it was exactly, but she said that verbatim, just like him. No. And I don't think she ever saw them. I just every time I see that scene, it reminds me of her response. It just makes me crack up. I'm gonna make that her ringtone. No.
Well, okay. Being we're talking about parents ringtones, I will divulge this. Mother Ambassador's ringtone, she doesn't get the reference, and that's okay. Mommy,
Oh.
mommy, mama, ma. It's Stewie from Family Guy, where he's trying to get Lois's attention.
My mother's current ringtone is the Godzilla roar.
Her ringtone, my mother's, is Mother and Child Reunion by Paul Simon. But her trying to see if I can find it in here.
We go comedic, he goes heartfelt. Thanks a lot, Chris, for making us look like jerks.
I'm an only child. I have to do that.
I'm an only child too.
I can make myself look like more of a jerk. My grandma's ringtone is the chorus from Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. It goes, sex, 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 the number of the beast.
You're awful.
Of course I'm
I'll
awful.
find it here.
I'm from the planet Spurg.
No, you're from the planet Sphincter.
Spurg is Scumdogian for sphincter.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Is.
No.
Bravo, Ambassador. Bravo.
We're here to inform and entertain. Some of us more so than others.
He delivered on entertain.
All right. I know Chris needs to go, but I think we've given this movie its due justice and its due time. So let's have final thoughts. And as we did with the Tarantino podcast and we've done thus far, let's give this one its ranking in the catalog thus far of Mel Brooks films. So we will start with the more distinguished of the three of us. Ace, you first.
I would probably rake it a 7.5 out of 10.
Fair enough. But in terms of the movies we reviewed so far of Brooks, where would you rank it amongst the four?
That's a tough one because top two are definitely going to be Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. I don't know where to put those in order. I would put this above The Producers, surprisingly, because I think Producers was Mel still trying to find his own voice. This was after he had kind of found his own voice, but was still playing around a bit.
Fair enough. And Mr. Knight?
I would go with the 7 or 7.5, like Ace. I would say that for me, it's like 1A, 1B with Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, and this is like 2A and 2B when it goes with Producers. I definitely agree that this is much more polished than The Producers, but The Producers fits it fits there. It's just, yes, he was kind of finding his way, but I think for finding your way, it was very good. So I would still say this is probably the 2A, 2B thing. So right now, out of the four, I would just say it's very tough to split the two from which is better and the other two from which is better. They're all good in their own right for their own reasons. But
as for myself, obviously we're fans of Brooks. We're also fans of Hitchcock, regardless of his personal dealings in terms of just as a movie maker. This, I think, is a very heartfelt and a very respectful but funny spoof of Hitchcock's work. So for that particular aspect, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. But in terms of just Brooks's work, I'm going to give it a 7. Not that it isn't bad, it isn't, but just the fact that there's the other three we've done thus far. Granted, I put this above Producers. This for me is 3, and then you've got, for me, it'll always be Blazing Saddles and then Young Frankenstein, because Blazing Saddles, yes, I love horror movies, but I love Westerns just a little bit more. That's my own personal taste. So it goes Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and then, of course, this, High Anxiety, and then Producers. So,
speaking of the whole thing, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm an only child. I said it. That's why I picked Mother and Child Reunion for her ringtone. But
that's okay. It's your own personal thing.
Wait. But her message tone is this. If I can find it right here. Oh wait, no, I didn't play it. Why didn't it play it? Hold on. I had it right here. We go. Okay. Oh, maybe that's why. There we go.
Technology is wonderful.
when
They
it wants
sometimes
to
can be a pain in the ass.
Swear.
And people think AI is the future.
It's
No,
not, it's
no.
actually on an app, and I don't know why it's not playing it. It's weird.
Chris, it's okay. You can play it for us later. So
Well, it's basically it
Anyway.
sounds like a Jewish mother going like, "Hello, it's your mother. Are you there?"
I think I've heard that ringtone before. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've heard that voice
It's
That
like
is-
tell
that is
people,
a
well,
good one.
I'm not Jewish, but I'm an only child, which is
Right?
kind
You
of like
don't
being
have to be
Jewish.
to appreciate their humor. Mhm. So, but anyways, folks, I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight, and for those you'll catch this on the replay, make sure you leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Make sure you smash that like button, and of course, we'll be back next month with episode 5, which will of course be silent movie.
Mhm.
And everything, because thankfully I'll have the box set that I've been longing for ever since we started this podcast of Mel Brooks movies, and I should be able to watch silent movie. But trust me, trust us, our review will not be silent. So, and I do want to say to everybody, I do apologize
That
for
would be
not being
hilarious.
on. I apologize for not being live more often. I do apologize for not having stuff uploaded more often. But when you're dealing with chronic back pain and working your butt off, it's not always easy. So, but I appreciate y'all being here. I want to say to all my new subscribers, I appreciate one and all of you. Thank you all for joining the channel. I hope you all enjoyed the content from both the past and as we could move forward. So, and I want to thank my two co-hosts, Mr. Molick and Mr. Knight. Guys, another great discussion. And I want you two to know I appreciate you both. Yes, I tease you, but that's because I love you as
We're
friends.
easy targets.
So, no,
I'm sorry, I was wrong.
I love you as friends because you are my friends. But anyways, folks, you all have a great night. We will see you all next month, and I will see you hopefully very soon. So until next time, guys, have a good one. And make sure to stay away from those high ledges. And remember, you're not afraid of heights. You just hate your parents. Good night, everybody.
Look at this.